Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Top Producers Nation podcast. This, of course, is our podcast made to help agents become top producers in their desired market, no matter where that might be. We also want to help team leaders and brokers develop top producers on their teams and organizations, no matter what market that might be as well. You can check out more details about that at topproducersnation.com to see our online community, our resources, including coaching and consulting and different software programs to help do just that for agents and team leaders in the market. We're powered, though, on the local level by our Tampa Bay Real Producers franchise here in beautiful Tampa Bay that we're on the corner of West Shore and Kennedy at our studio right now. And that Tampa Bay Real Producers platform is where we feature the top 500 producing agents here in this local market of Tampa Bay. And if it wasn't for our great partners, what we call our preferred partners in this local market, we wouldn't be able to do any of that with the Tampa Bay Real Producers platform. So we do bring many of our partners here on the show as part of our partner series to just talk about the role they play in Tampa Bay real estate, their business. And today we have two of those preferred partners here. Mr. Mike Hills is in the house. Yay! His daughter Tiffany is in the house. It's good to have them both with Triton Insurance Group, right?
Insurance
That's the official
Group.
official title. We'll be official here. The Triton Insurance Group. And so both of them have been a partner now for a little over a year with the Tampa Bay Real Producers platform. And it's good to have you guys here, no doubt. Absolutely.
Weren't we supposed to do this like a year ago or 8 months ago? I was just thinking about
we might have had you on the calendar once or twice before. Yeah, I think so.
Like
it's
8
about
months
time.
ago, we've been talking about doing this.
Yes. Well, we got your jacket out of the closet. You know, you're looking
dust
sharp.
Dust it off.
That's
Dust it
right.
off.
That's right. Now
Who
you
does
get to dig in.
podcast on a Friday at noon.
Hey man, we do our podcast when we have access.
By the time Friday rolls around,
that's when we do our podcast.
By the time Friday rolls around, we're all like mush,
exactly,
brain dead. The last thing you feel like doing is talking about insurance. you know, it's like a little bit of babble and stuff. But
well, don't worry, man. We draw the good stuff out. I think that's one of the things we've done well here over the last year or two plus of running this show. So we're going to start with a little bit about your background. All right, for people who don't know anything about how you even got to where you're at, you probably, if you've followed us at all, you might have even seen an article done on Triton Insurance at one point in Tampa Bay Real Producers, and they also have sponsored and helped with many of our events over the last year plus. So let's talk a little bit about that. So how did you even get to Tampa Bay? Did you grow up in Tampa Bay? What brought you to this market? Okay. And tell us a little bit about how Triton got started.
We lived in Buffalo, New York, home of the Buffalo Bills.
There we go.
Right?
There we go.
And I actually own a scuba.
Have you heard what Bills stands for?
Yes. Boy, I love losing Super Bowls. Yeah, we were in the Jim Kelly era, so we went through all that, used to the abuse.
It's still one of the most impressive things, though, that ever happened in the NFL, going to 4 straight Super Bowls like that.
Absolutely. So if they could pull it off this year, which I'm not, the odds are against them, but
you never
if
know.
they could pull
Josh
it off,
Allen's a stud.
Josh Allen is freaking. It depends on how he wakes up that morning, I guess. Just like the rest of us. But
this will be the big test. If they can beat Denver in Denver, that's gonna. I mean, they can beat anybody, I think.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens.
So in Buffalo, I actually had a scuba diving company. I started it when I was young, like right after high school, started a scuba diving company and ran that for like 15 years. Ice diving in Lake Erie, training water rescue teams and dive teams and training people to scuba dive. And 1996, I said, I got to get out of scuba because there was just I had 12 full-time instructors working for me.
Got it.
In Buffalo.
A little bit different
than
Florida weather.
Scuba in Buffalo is not very lucrative.
Right?
Not to say. So scuba in Buffalo.
A lot of trips to the Caribbean, taking people dive trips and stuff like that was kind of our forte. And then training the rescue teams was our drive. That was kind of our passion. But
how long did you have the company?
It was like 16 years, something like that.
It's a lot of scuba.
It was, it was a fun ride. It was a fun ride, but as far as like sustaining lifestyle and
we still scuba, but we enjoy it a lot more these days.
Yeah, I would imagine. This is more of your scuba market.
Cayman Islands is a little better than Lake Erie or the Niagara River.
Sure.
Cool shipwrecks though. But so 1996, I got out of it, got into the mortgage business, and did that until 2009. It was a wholesale rep on the mortgage side.
This was still in Buffalo, though,
so
right?
that was still in Buffalo.
Yep.
And after shoveling my car out of the driveway so many times, I went to my manager and I said, "Where could I relocate to?" And they go, "Okay, we could do Vegas, And I just pictured like multiple forms of rehab living in Vegas.
Even though I could see Mike being a Vegas guy, can't you?
Vegas
wearing the dice jackets.
Landlocked. Yeah,
Chicago,
landlocked.
Chicago, they gave me another option. That was just too cold, didn't want to deal with the Chicago.
That doesn't solve the problem, the weather.
Phoenix sounded like a desert, and then they said Tampa. So, the mortgage company, they flew us down, let us check out an exploratory event. We brought the whole family down.
Yep.
And we spent a week down on next to Shepherd's on the beach.
Oh, yeah?
And so we hung out there.
That was an old school college hotspot.
Yeah, we hung out there. So that was like 2002. So, 2001, 2002. That we came down, and I go, I love it.
I was enjoying my University of Tampa days back then, so we were down here at the same time.
Well, she was University of Tampa.
I know. Tiffany's a UT grad as well, right?
I am.
So
Pre-med, actually.
I wonder who has more.
I was not.
And now I do insurance, though.
Which one of you guys has more student loan debt or had more student loan?
Mine is gone now, thank God. Thank God.
Was it paid off last week? No.
It's been a few years, thankfully. I mean, I've accumulated other debt in other ways, but the student loan piece of it has been gone.
See, as soon as you pay yours off, the government's going to expunge everybody's student loan debt, and nobody's going to have a debt.
Sure.
Shit.
Of course. Exactly. Right.
So, and then the mortgage meltdown came in 2007, 2008, and just literally destroyed the entire, going through that meltdown.
Remember those
of
times?
The mortgage industry. Yeah, a lot of the older people that were in.
So you moved to Tampa in 2002?
Moved to Tampa in 2002.
Right?
Moved to Tampa in 2002, and I was a wholesale rep covering, the bulk of the state, doing wholesale
just
business.
In time for the Bucs Super Bowl victory down
right?
here.
Yes, right. Exactly. That's exactly what it was. An enlightening, one. So it was pretty cool vibe moving down at that time. A lot of
energy in Tampa.
A lot of energy.
Still is.
And so it kind of got me passionate about kind of like what you do, where you're training the real estate agents. So I used to do the same thing, training the mortgage brokers about how to sell certain types of loans, and just do a lot of seminars. So it's like I give you a lot of credit for what you do, trying to coach other people. Like most people, the world is not designed, and most people are not built. They're built selfish.
Yeah, sure.
They want to make the money. They work to live, and it takes a certain passion to be able to take time to coach people to really build and become a trusted advisor and show them how to be a better person. But then the mortgage meltdown came, and BJ Machad and Mike Zaburo that started Triton Insurance, they were like, "Come on, let's join us."
Triton start.
Triton started in, I think it was 2007. Okay. Is when BJ and
so
Mike
you were still in the mortgage
started.
game at the time.
Still in the mortgage game at the time. I was like one of those diehard guys. There was like the mortgage meltdown-o-meter that they had. All the companies were crashing and burning by the day. You'd wake up in the morning and check this implosion meter. I forgot what it was called.
Countrywide was one of the big ones.
Right. You remember that? And it was just like, oh my God. And all of a sudden, boom, we were on that list.
Overnight, it felt like everything changed.
Yeah. And at the time, we actually worked together too.
You were in the mortgage then too.
Yeah, Tiffany
I was helping him, and
Tiffany was working full time with us. She was at UT and helping do pre-qualifications for mortgages and all that, and so we kind of when you're building your business by interacting with real estate agents and mortgage brokers, you kind of get a pulse of the whole mortgage and real estate transaction, and that any one of the people involved with the mortgage transaction, whether it's the title company, the inspection company, the insurance agency, that there's no reason for a deal to fall apart at the last minute, which still happens to this day.
Sure.
It's
more often than people realize.
Yeah. It's like a fatal blow comes into a closing 2 days on the 11th hour.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no reason for that kind of stuff to happen. Somebody did a bad job, didn't check the title, the insurance quote was wrong, the DTI was wrong, maybe the mortgage guy didn't, forgot about the alimony, or whatever. There's 1,000 ways to blow a deal at the last minute, and almost every one of them could have been presented through quality control.
Yeah.
And having the right people involved with it. So I think it kind of gave us the pulse of what it really takes to bring a transaction through to fruition and have a happy face.
Well, we have a
at
much
the
well-rounded perspective on the full transaction, from the minute that they sign that purchase agreement to the very end, to when their keys are in their hand for their closing. Like, we understand pretty much every step that goes along that way.
And it does help because of your background, I think, to help you have that understanding.
For sure.
So we were touching on the Triton. It sounds like it was started by two separate founders initially, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And then you guys how did you get connected with that and end up taking it over at
Well,
some point?
one of the guys, BJ, he worked in the mortgage business with me. He worked with me at Washington Mutual, and he was like, I'm out. I'm not doing mortgage anymore. I'm going to do insurance. Come on board.
Okay.
And I'm like, no. The mortgage business is going to come around. It's going to come around. It's going to be okay.
You were holding on the good fight.
I was those guys, still.
So they're on the other coast too.
You
So
know.
this whole area and this whole coast was pretty much untapped potential for them.
Yeah.
So when we were over here and we were like, hey, what do you think about this? We're like, sure, let's give it a shot.
Yeah, they were in Fort Lauderdale, and
So were they silent partners, or are they still involved at all? Or
oh
no?
yeah, they're still involved.
So they're still partners to this day.
Yeah.
Triton's growing fast.
We actually just grew.
Triton's growing
so
fast.
they opened up a branch in Tennessee. So
Okay.
not only in Florida, but we're also licensed in Tennessee now too.
Nice.
Yeah, we got like 6 states that we're.
So you're in 6 states currently?
Yeah.
How many
Yeah, so-
locations would you say you have in Florida right now?
Oh God, I think there's 5. I think there's 5, and the one in Tennessee, is. And it's rocking. I mean, we got all the companies. I mean, we're an Allstate office. We're a Nationwide office. We're a Progressive
Geico.
Platinum. We got Geico. I like to think of us as we're like a mega agency. Not that we have like a boiler room full of 1,000 people, but we're a mega agency because we represent so many companies.
Sure.
Like if you go to get a quote from an agency that doesn't have all the companies, they'll say to you, here, I gave you the best quote that we have.
Yeah.
But they're only shopping with 5 companies.
Yeah, but
they're
they're only
not
shopping.
lying.
So
It's
they're only
just
shopping
what their
they're
network
not
is.
lying, exactly. But when we shop it, we're actually running through like 42 different companies or something,
And that's probably,
So-
would you say that's one of the biggest distinctions, if not
For
the
sure.
biggest distinction between anybody working with Triton as compared to kind of your normal insurance options that are out there?
Yeah.
Yes, I would say that's definitely an advantage. But I like to see myself not just as an insurance agent, but as a risk advisor. And I also really like to dive into my client's portfolio to see truly what their needs are. I feel like people just like to sell a product. And I have had way too many claims come across my desk to look at insurance just as a product.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, I mean, your house
It
is
should
one
be
of your
custom.
biggest investments. And insurance is it's 100% custom. And not only that, there's too much left on the table at the end of the day. And what I mean by that is like, did you apply your alarm credits? Did you apply your gated community credits? Did you apply your bundle discount with your in-agency auto discount? Did you recommend retrofitting your property for hurricane clips? Did you recommend, maybe retrofitting your front door so now you get your impact rated credit? And I feel like there's a lot of missed opportunities when it comes to like really making sure your client's assets are truly protected.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, if you put a new garage door in that's impact rated, your out-of-pocket cost could be $1,000, but your savings on your homeowners could be $2,000. Not only did you put that money back in your pocket, but now your house is more structurally sound when the wind comes blowing.
Yeah. That
You
could be a
don't
big
know-
big deal in Florida. That's for
You
sure.
don't know what you don't know. And first time home buyers or seasoned, on their 5th home, when they come to Florida, we got a wind mitigation. You got to get a wind mitigation. What the heck's a wind mitigation? I've heard of a 4-point inspection before, they may say, but a wind mitigation inspection is exclusive to Florida. That's a Florida 1802 form that it goes on. It's controlled by the state, and those discounts are controlled by the state also.
Right.
And like an example, like Tiffany was just talking about, like the wind mitigation, where if you don't have hurricane clips, right, to hold your roof on when the storm is coming. Most people don't have. Newer construction has hurricane clips, but if you spent $1,000 having clips installed in your house, and your premium was $4,000, and I'm just throwing a number,
Sure.
right? And your premium was $4,000, and you spent $1,000 having clips installed, that premium could come down to $1,800.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if we get people on the phone and we explain it to them, hey, you only have toenails, which means you don't have clips.
Right.
Here's what the clip is, and here's what the clip does, and here's how now your house is more reinforced when the hurricane is coming and the wind is blowing, and you got your kids in the bedroom and the storm is coming.
Yeah.
Now you know that you got a more reinforced home to handle a hurricane.
Yeah.
And
it
you
saves some money.
And you get a discount on your insurance. Bingo. So it's not just about saving the money. It's about making sure you understand how safe your home. Most people have their heads in the sand when it comes to preparation for hurricanes and stuff. So
no, that makes sense. And so obviously our audience tends to be real estate agents, right? Top producers, and even agents who want to be top producers who follow us and try to learn from a lot of our guests. So I know you guys do a lot to try to educate and be in front of agents, right? And do what you can to provide as a great vendor, as a great partner. Talk us through a little bit about some of the things that you think are important that you already might have mentioned piece of it, right, with the hurricane clips as one example.
Yep.
But I know this is your wheelhouse, Tiffany, in terms of like education and how you try to approach the real estate agent relationship. What does that mean to you?
So, I mean, obviously, when it comes to like the real estate and the mortgage broker relationship, I feel, their perspective coming from insurance is they're worried about DTI. They're worried about that best premium.
Yeah.
But in the reality is of it, sometimes the best premium means that you're sacrificing very significant coverages. Which obviously isn't fair to that buyer. So I always try to offer, like, I will go through and I'll literally do good, better, and best policies. And I'll have that conversation with like the client. And, I'll say, look, this is what we can do to get you clear through closing. You guys get in the house. Once you guys figure out finances, we can always change you to a different policy or even increase these coverage limits. So that way you're not really sacrificing it. Obviously, when you're buying a house, everyone's hemorrhaging money. So cost becomes a very, very big concern. But at the end of the day, people don't really notice what their insurance policy truly pertains until it's too late.
Sure.
And I really want to avoid that. I don't want to be that agent that was like, for $100, you could have had full water coverage on this house, or for, $50, let's say, you could have had service line. And for me, those conversations are really big with the client. I mean, it's big too, having that conversation with the realtor, so they obviously know.
But they should know their options.
Yeah, they definitely should know their options, and not just jamming premium. Well, here's my $800 policy, but basically it's only going to protect you if your house starts on fire.
Right.
That's obviously a not good investment for your client, and you want to make sure that everyone's fully covered.
Yeah. Totally. No, it makes all the sense in the world. So what role in your experience has the agent played in that? Are they basically just making an introduction, and you prefer if you're the one kind of talking directly to the client on that educational process?
So, I really do like to be involved with the transactions, and I want to help. Obviously, I'm not stepping on anyone's toes, but there is like, when you have a good realtor and insurance agent connection, it definitely makes things like if you need inspections, if you need like, for instance, right now I'm trying to track down a master policy because there's a disagreement whether or not this townhouse needs a specific form like a condo policy or if it's a fee simple property. So I'm working with the realtor trying to get it from the HOA. And I feel like when you have someone that you're partners with, it streamlines the process and it leaves that guessing. So like, I mean, there's a huge difference between policy A, which is an HO6, and policy B, which is full coverage. I mean, if your house burns down and you carry only walls in policy, you're self-insuring for the property.
Right.
So, when you have that relationship, whether it's the mortgage broker or the realtor, and you two can kind of, put those pieces to the puzzle together, it definitely streamlines everything. Yeah. And then like we were talking about, like, if there is a disagreement with the policy, more than likely it's going to get caught at closing, which means it could delay your closing. It could blow up the whole deal. So if you have that connection and everything's so much more streamlined on the front end, I mean, you're just going to have an easier, quicker, smoother closing.
Yeah. No, it makes all the sense in the world.
I think a best practice for the agents on the agent side, we still have agents that send us an email with the buyer not included in the email, and they just give us an address, and they say they need to get a quote. And we'll say, well, we got to contact they go, no, we're gonna control it. They want to control the whole process.
Yeah.
Right. Which is number one. Why would you want to take up the brain damage of a wind mitigation and a clip, and whether or not they had a bankruptcy or foreclosure or past claim history, and some of the questions that we ask. So it's very personalized.
Yeah.
It's very personalized. So I think the agents need to, however they do a handoff introduction, sometimes we just get a phone call and they'll say, hey, I was referred to you from, XY, such real estate agent. And we go, okay, good. That's awesome. Or we get an email where they're CC'd in it, and they're in there. But there's just too many. It's a recipe for disaster when the insurance
and I think that goes back to
agent
trusting who your partners are.
Exactly. That's where I was going with that. Is that if you got the right part, the right title, the right inspection company,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, you have a responsibility
you would want them to have that direct
deliver. And if it's good news or bad news, and
Right.
somebody didn't say, "Oh, you can't get insurance on this." I mean, we're getting a lot of stuff where houses can't. They're not insurable. Period.
I mean,
for a
going back
multitude
to that
of
comment
reasons.
too, Mike, like I feel like like Mike said before, we're a mega broker, and that's because we have so many companies. So you might call an agent and they might be like, the house is uninsurable. Yeah, because they only have 5 companies. So it's like underwriting varies from company to company to company.
Sure.
And also policy
And you have
form.
42 companies, you said, right?
I actually think we have more than that right now because we've actually gained a couple companies this year.
Okay.
So I
Actually,
mean,
18 new companies.
the market
Already
is
this year?
definitely
in the last couple of years, 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Because
It's
the
not as volatile.
meltdown happened in 2000 is when this started, you know, and premiums just with 80% on average increase.
Yeah, wow.
80% on average increase across the country.
Yeah.
So this wasn't just a Florida. The rest of like I got people that moved to Kentucky
Yeah.
3 years ago because he couldn't stand Florida insurance.
Right.
Doubling and he literally like his taxes, insurance. And he called me the other day.
Now, the thought process
his
with that
premium doubled.
Is,
His premium
is flood
doubled in
insurance,
Kentucky.
right? Like that seems to be
Correct.
the go-to
Well-
talking point is flood insurance and the effect and how Florida obviously
flood is
responds
typically
to
a
that.
federal product. So it's a little bit different.
Okay. So what role, if any, then is the flood piece of that playing in those rate hikes that you just talked about? Is that
I mean,
because
it's all cumulative.
Flood has definitely increased. Flood has definitely increased, and,
Sure.
and justifiably so. Look at the risk. Look at, I mean,
I get it.
We've had
major storms
We've had
2 years ago.
major storms that were nothing but flood
Flooding.
events. The homeowners companies didn't pay a penny
Right.
on the bulk of that stuff because it was strictly flood.
right?
So yeah, so I mean, you used to be able to flood policy. Remember a flood zone X, which is the limited flood zone where the
$475.
mortgage company doesn't require flood if it's flood zone X. Even though 40% of flood claims and flood
Happen in
damage
flood zone
happen in flood zone X. So people don't realize that, but that flood premium used to be $365.
Yeah.
A year.
Much different animal
before
now,
the
right?
$450 when it was $365 for 15 years is what it was. Now that same flood policy, because the flood rating is different, could be $4,000.
They got rid of the standardized flood zone X. It used to be like you could call and you'd want a certain amount of dwelling coverage. Okay, fine. Here's your set rate.
Yep.
But now they're actually looking at it a lot more detailed. So they're looking at it. Is it masonry? Is it frame? Is it your primary house? Is your
And
secondary
elevation,
house?
and they're pulling that, and they pull the
Everything's going
house
into factoring with it.
elevation.
Sure.
So an older house built in the 50s, 60s, 70s, was not elevated. They would just say, hey, that's a nice plot of land there. Let's put a house right there.
Yep.
Now they put a house there in that same location. Now they go, okay, now we got to put a house right there. We got to bring in dirt and fill and bring it up 15 feet to comply with code.
Yep.
So the house with the lower elevation is going to take a hit.
And a lot of these changes, is that specific to Florida, or do you find these changes in a lot of these other states?
Oh, it's
as
everywhere.
Well?
That's
Yeah,
nationwide.
Nationwide.
It is,
So
okay.
I will
That's
tell you
nationwide.
the one thing is like when it comes to flood, people were always going straight to NFIP, which is the National Flood Insurance Program. They were like the number one in the game, pretty much almost a monopoly. And in the last maybe 5-6 years, the private market for flood insurance is growing so rapidly. I mean, it's crazy. There's so many flood carriers right now that want to get in the game. And I mean, we have just our agency alone, I think we have over 30 different private markets for flood. So if NFIP has a specific set rate, the private market could be significantly cheaper.
Yeah.
This morning, one of the policies that I bound this morning was a friend of mine who was like, look, my other agent, because he wanted to go with a local agent. He's up in Hernando Beach. He was like, I probably should have came to you first, but I was using this dude who's at the end of my street for insurance. And I'm like, he's like, my policy's $8,000. And I'm like, well, here's my policy. It's $1,800.
It's crazy.
And
Isn't that crazy?
And
That's
it comes
right.
with
Like,
more
for
coverage.
Yeah.
Do you know
And that's a standalone flood policy?
It's a standalone flood policy, but
Yeah.
it even comes with more coverage because NFIP is very basic, very, very, I mean, you're just looking at solely dwelling coverage and only up to $250,000. Whereas some of these private markets go up to $10 million for your house.
Wow.
And then also they come with stuff
Which is
like,
needed in some of these properties.
for
that,
sure,
right, we
yeah.
do some of our
I mean, think
MVP
about
socials at.
think about all the coastal houses right now, and the max that NFIP will offer is only $250,000. I mean, it's in my perspective, that's not even a Band-Aid for if you have a loss at your house.
Totally.
Like
we had $5 million houses wiped out by flood.
Yeah.
Homeowners would cover
Yeah.
$5 million, right? But the house flooded, so their house had to be destroyed.
Yeah.
Here's your check for $250,000.
That's wild.
Could you even
Max.
fathom? And the reason people
Doesn't
have
even
that
handle the,
because that's what the
clean
bank.
out. Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't even handle to tear the place
Get rid
down.
of the debris. Yeah.
You know, you're right. So it's crazy when you think about some of this stuff. You know how the government controls so much, like with the flood in there. I mean, honestly, what they should do is make every house across the country, because this flooding is not just Florida. Flooding. If you looked at a flood, I bet there was 60 state of emergencies last year across the country. Mississippi River overflowing for just flooding is one of the big. It's not global warming getting into any of that stuff there. This is like rainwater that's coming in the middle of Colorado, wherever there's rivers, lakes. When the rain comes down, it pools. We build houses, so the drainage doesn't.
I mean, people are always going to want waterfront property, though, still.
And they want to be
right?
on a lake, you know?
Yeah, exactly right.
They're also building a lot of the newer construction. Like I live in the Land O'Lakes area, and there's so much new construction going on there.
Yeah.
So what happens though is the newer construction is built up higher. So if you have older homes, unfortunately the older homes, they're lower level.
Yeah.
So now where's the water going to go?
Right.
Not only that, but you're taking wetlands, marshes, swamps, and basically paving over the top of it and turning it into a parking lot.
Yep.
So now that area is even draining more into some of these older neighborhoods as well.
Yeah.
And if you talk to the construction people that are doing like the work in the sewers and the drains, and like we have those conversations with people because we're insurance nerds about flood and stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, like they had like an 18-inch pipe handling the runoff, but they put in 4,000 new houses over there. Right.
Sounds like a problem.
And they would, and the construction guys, we're replacing an 18-inch pipe with an 18-inch pipe.
Wow.
You know, and it should be like a 36-inch pipe going in here.
With 4,000 more houses.
And it's
now
like, so it's,
servicing.
so it's just like some of the things.
What percentage of your overall business is focused on P&C versus the other forms of insurance? I know you guys also handle auto. Fill me in on just overall the portfolio.
We are the unequivocal category killer in homeowners insurance. Yeah. Homeowners insurance is probably 75% or 70%, and then 25% auto and 5% commercial. So we got all the commercial companies too, but we are just a category killer.
Got it.
With that. And the one thing, like, and sometimes because we have so many companies, like you can call some agents and get a quote on the phone with some agents, right? Because that's all they have. So sometimes I got companies right now that we submit and we got to wait 4 days to get a response back from underwriting, you know? So that's why we always come, okay, what's our service level agreement for a turn time on a quote? It should be 30 minutes or, you know, and it's like, we can't do it. So we got to have the conversation.
Well, you could. It just might not be the best quote, right?
We could.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, you're 100% right. We could just be, if we're slinging quotes, and that's how a lot of people do it.
Right.
And they have a stripped down policy, like typically no ordinance in law, limited water damage, no screen enclosure, you know, low liability limits. They sling them all day long, and the new home buyer looks at it and goes, "This is $1,400. I'll take that."
Yeah.
You know, whereas Tiffany could
sure
have a quote for
some
$1,800.
go-tos, right? Just certain carriers that
we got a lot of
go-to.
like right now. I mean, and people think, well, Frontline's pricing killer here. That doesn't mean they're pricing killer just 2 blocks over or a county over.
Right.
You know, but I mean, we got all the company, American Integrity and Tower Hill and Olympus, and there's really some good companies, and they've been in business for, 15 years.
I mean, I'm from Connecticut, which they call the insurance state, right? So Connecticut's known, especially Hartford, as the insurance capital of the world. All the big buildings up there are insurance companies. We drive through that area.
Well, like Hartford, for example, right? Hartford, for example, doesn't do home insurance here.
Yeah.
So they come down just like Travelers doesn't do
auto.
home insurance. They come down here. So, I mean, the state honestly should say, if you're coming here doing auto and health and life, you have to do home. They can't do that, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, there's just a lot of politics that kind of, upset things. I mean, with California right now.
Do you guys cover life as well?
We don't do life.
You don't life, okay.
Yeah. We got some good referral sources that we send it to.
Yeah.
But, no life, no health.
Got it.
Thank God, no health.
Also, if you're getting,
That's a whole other podcast.
We should talk about our health care right now.
Here's my perspective too. If you're getting a quote within 30 minutes, did that agent truly go through your risk? Like, do they know that you are in the military? Do they know that you're trying to bundle auto? What goods? I mean, those are huge discounts.
Sure.
Did they actually take the time to pull your property record to see whether or not your builder is an accredited builder? Did they actually do a Google Earth analysis to see whether or not it's gated, guarded, or single entry? Like, there's so many different details that go into quotes. And if you miss those, I mean, that could be a 30% savings, just those small credits. And it's like, if you don't take the time to actually like almost get to know your client a little bit and see what their risk is, I mean, you could be paying.
That's what you should be doing as a professional, right?
Yeah, for sure. You have to take the time for that.
You know what's crazy? We'll have customers that we've had their policy for 5 years, right? And Tiff will be reviewing it, doing annual review on it, and she'll look at the inspection and goes, it says toenails, back to this clip thing again, right? Right? And it's marked toenails. And Tiff, you'll call an underwriter and go, look at this toenail. What do you see next to where the toenail's just an angled nail, like when you were building a treehouse when you were a kid, or you just banging it in with the nail on the side, right? And he goes, what do you think of that? Is that a clip right next to that where the toenail's in? And they'll go, sure as heck is. This wind mitigation was wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
So people go like, well, I got the cheapest inspector to do the wind. I beat up the inspector because I want my customers to get a good deal.
Right.
But they've been paying, $4,000 for 5 years or whatever. When it actually had a clip. So we got to tell the customer, we got to go,
30-40%
listen,
discount.
let's get a new wind mitigation done on your house. Well, can you backdate it, last 5 years and recoup me $20,000? I mean, $20,000 mistakes happen all the time because of schlocky freaking service, which shouldn't, think about the inspector.
I feel like one of the big takeaways even so far from this conversation, I think for me and hopefully for anybody who would be watching here, is the idea that there's a lot of things that are constantly changing the insurance industry
all the time.
A lot of things that are, like you said earlier, you just don't know what you don't know. And so the importance of having some true professionals that you really can ask questions to, that you can lean on, that are going to be looking out for these detailed things that a typical real estate agent isn't even aware of, nor wants to invest that energy, into trying to figure out.
Polybutylene pipes and federated breaker panels and double taps and age of the hot water freaking tank.
Exactly.
All of those mishmash things crash your deal.
Yeah, I have no idea what you just said.
Yeah, I know. It's like either do I. Either do I.
I thought you were I'm about to drop some beatboxing behind you there, Mike. So I think ultimately the point is, like, obviously you guys have been partners with us for the last year plus, but we would highly encourage you guys to connect. And ultimately, I would say, do you do anything proactively to like educate, whether it's at brokers' offices, agents generally? Do you guys have programs like that where you reach out to offices to try to like do lunch and learn campaigns or anything of that nature? Or not much.
We do a few of them. Honestly, in my previous life in the mortgage business, that was like 3 days a week. Yeah. Like you out doing what you do right now is what I did, and we should.
Yeah.
We should, because there's a whole new group of real estate. I mean, back 20 years ago, the real estate office was full of people my age. It was all 50, 60, 70-year-old people. Yeah, it's a whole new breed of people out there that are badass and doing a great job, real estate agents.
Well, I think even just the positioning of you guys as experts.
New level of knowledge out there. You're right. They don't need to know polybutylene, PEX, hot water, and double tap wiring, and the stuff that they don't need. But they should be aware of some of the basic details, which could come from a 30-minute presentation.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because insurance is boring. Nobody wants to sit and listen to insurance. But
I mean, I think if it were to help them actually close on that sale of the house, I do think some of it's important.
It's always about what's in it for me, right?
We save so many deals behind the scenes.
Unfortunately, humans in general just have that mindset. Sure. But I mean, if it made you better at your job, selling that house and knowing what features are lucrative in terms of insurance, because let's face it, most people get a 30-year mortgage, and now there's scuttlebutt about a 50-year mortgage. Yeah. That's a huge investment.
Totally.
So if it's going to help you sell that house to that client, I mean, yeah. I mean, I think you should take 30 minutes to an hour and learn just a little bit about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And even just from the standpoint of having that mental confidence that you have the right partners for your people, right? So when you guys are in these positions of authority and you're able to teach a class here or there, it starts to create the image, the correct image that you guys can be trusted, right? That you know what you're talking about, that you have experience in this game, and that not all insurance carriers are the same, right? Yep. Not all insurance agencies are the same. There's a distinction between these little nuances, and it could make a big difference in the actual reality, the actual experience that the client has. So that's why we're glad to have you on the show.
Too many insurance agents push deals just to get numbers on the board, and I would never operate like that, because all companies do condition reports. They come out to the house post closing to make sure that house is actually in good condition, and to make sure that inspector wasn't slipped $100 to not include the polybutylene on there. So regardless, it's double checked on the back end. And I would never want to be that agent that's guess what, your house is insurable and you already bought it.
Totally.
Yeah. That's not a surprise that anybody should ever find out.
I want to switch gears a little bit to some personal stuff, just so that the audience gets to know you guys a little bit more, other than just the insurance geeks that you are. I know you're a bourbon fan, Mike.
That's where I thought you were going. What kind of cocktail
Rob,
do you like?
bring it out.
Yeah, I thought this was supposed to be like Joe Rogan here.
That's where we're transitioning into for the last couple of minutes here. So it's cool that it's a family-run business, right? I know Tiffany is the brains behind the operation and the looks, of course.
We all kind of have our own. My mom even works with us too. So it's we're all there. And totally. She handles a lot of the behind the scenes thing. But what my mom does every day is she is a numbers freak. She is just, you throw numbers at her and she can dissect them so quick. And every day she comes in, runs all of the daily reports. And this is really what separates us from the branch down the street, because I don't ever hear any other agencies doing this.
About 15,000 policies.
Yeah, we got a lot of them. And she comes in and crunches numbers like a mad woman every day. And she goes through, and if there's ever premium increases or she sees anything with that policy, we're very proactive. And 60 days prior to renewal, we're calling people, hey, let's reshop you. Let's see if we can get you a new inspection. Let's save you some money. What about your auto? I mean, we
call them out of the blue and save somebody $2,000.
Yeah.
You're driving down, hey, Don, we're going to save you your auto. You're paying $4,000 right now with Travelers. We can get you down to $1,800 with Progressive right now, because
that's what you would want to have,
because there's a price war going on with Geico and Progressive right now, and they both want market share.
Because you know that the client's not doing that research, so you need someone on your team.
I haven't had anybody call me and say, hey, Mike, I'm going to save you, and driving out the road. I'm going to save you $500. What's the scam?
Right.
That was the first thing you think of.
Totally.
So, what else is everybody goes, oh, it's so cute. You work with your daughter. Oh, it's a little fan. But I'll tell you what, Tiffany is kind of a freak of nature with the insurance world.
She's a bulldog. You kidding me? Tiffany knows her stuff.
No, she does. She reads this underwriting guidelines. She'll take, a company's guidelines home. Cypress, she took home last night, I think, because we had a conference call with Cypress Insurance. She took stuff home and actually read 80 pages of underwriting. But she'll pick up the phone and call the underwriter on your deal and go, wait a minute, why is this not covered? Or why is this premium this when they should have this discount according to your guidelines? So she's our underwriter. She's our first line of underwriting office.
And you guys work together as a good team, Yeah. I know Tiffany, again, has a lot of that operational heavy responsibilities that come with running the agency behind the scenes, and Mike is out partying all day long.
Exactly.
And networking his tail off over here.
I got to get going right now. Let's wrap this up.
But a couple quick things. What do you guys love to do for fun, other than the bourbon thing? Well, you can mention the bourbon tours that you take and the favorite spots, but what are some of your favorite things to do for fun when you're not jamming insurance?
So my son, he is 11 years old, and he just got scuba certified. She's been certified for a year.
Scuba's still in the life. I love it.
Yeah.
He's 10 years old scuba diving.
That's awesome.
It used to be 16 when I had my dive shop. You had to be 16 or 15 years old.
To get certified?
Just to get certified as a junior diver, and he's already out there. Man, we were in the Cayman Islands, a couple of months ago, and we were at 65 feet on a ship. 65 feet on a shipwreck, Barracudas
Do you
going
scuba with him a lot?
Yep. We have a club at their school.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
His first dive was at Devil's Den.
Is that your first grandkid?
Up there? Yep.
Okay. Yeah. How many do you have? Just the one?
Three
grandkids now. Okay.
Yeah.
Are they all in the scuba diving game, or is he?
One's a year old. So
Tennille's a year old. Another year. So
we'll throw him in the back.
Maybe next year.
Sometimes, yes.
My other son will be 10 this year, so I'm excited for that.
I love it. Couple rapid fire questions. You ready?
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite book, author, seminar that you ever attended that you feel like has made an impact on you personally or professionally? You can each answer.
I told you I went to UT, and my original course in life was supposed to be in medical. So mine is the only answer to cancer.
Okay.
I think everybody should read that book. I've read it like 3 times now. And every time I pick it up, I find something different in it. It's obviously no way related to insurance.
Yeah.
But I think everybody should read it just to grasp exactly. I mean, he goes into like crazy topics, just how much cancer there is.
The only answer to cancer?
Yeah.
Have you read Tony Robbins'
How
book,
did you
Life
know
Force?
that? How did you know that?
She just threw it out there.
Oh, okay.
I was just repeating her mind. It's all
Wow.
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's not listening. It's Friday.
Yeah, so ADHD kicking in here.
No, I find it a fascinating book. Like I've read a lot of
Yeah. I brought up the Tony Robbins one because his book, Life Force, has a whole part on cancer. It's all health-related stuff.
Yep.
So as a health geek, I thought you might be interested in that one as well. It's a
Interesting.
long book, though.
That'll
It's
be
like
my next
500
one.
plus pages.
Yeah.
All of his
But
books are that way.
well, that
Yeah.
one's like a real monster. But yeah, you're right. He does have some length in a lot of his books for sure.
I've also read like there's a cave diving one that I really liked. Now that my son's back in it,
There
it's
you
kind of
go.
sparked that interest.
Yes.
And I'm like, man, I love scuba diving, but the stuff that these people do is absolutely just
Next
wild.
level.
Oh yeah, that's like crazy stuff. And my kid's over here like, I want to do this, and I'm like,
Half a mile.
When you're 18,
half a mile in the ground
yes.
in a cave. Half a mile in the ground in a cave.
That's intense.
That's totally intense. There's no room
Yeah.
for air. There's no room for
I mean,
air.
it's just-
I think I would get claustrophobic down there.
Yeah,
It's not mine.
It does get
all right,
pretty
so
intense.
we're bringing Don scuba diving next.
Yeah, well, scuba.
He would like ice diving.
Yeah.
That'd
Rescue
be
ice diving.
interesting.
Ice diving was crazy.
What about you? Favorite book, author?
Probably
Anything, John?
Probably Stephen Covey, like old school,
I gotcha.
personal development stuff, time management.
Yeah, man.
How to talk to people like a human being. It was probably Stephen Covey because that's what we did. Back in the scuba shop, when I had my scuba shop, it was all about having a relationship.
Seven
with people
Habits
and
of
being-
Highly Successful
Seven Habits,
People,
man.
right?
Yeah,
That's a
good one.
the
classic.
old Stephen Covey planner, like that 3-ring binder with
That's
a little
right.
insert
The old day
cards
minders.
in
Yeah.
there and all that. Yeah. But I mean, that's old school stuff, and it still applies now. I think
It does.
even these new.
It's all just been regurgitated.
It's all
anyway.
regurgitated stuff from back
one generation to the
Brian,
next.
Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar,
Totally.
all that stuff back there. And
All right, I'm going to wrap it up with this question. You ready?
Yeah,
This
let's
is
hear
what
it.
I call our legacy question, and
Legacy.
I think it's important to think about from a business sense as well as personal. So when you do, many years from now,
Angel's Envy. I thought you asked what my favorite bourbon is. No,
you can throw it out there. You just did. So take a note, people.
Okay.
Take a note.
Well, mine's Eagle Rare, so we'll go with that.
We got both notes. It's in the notes. It's going to be in the description. When that day comes and you're sitting on that rocking chair, hopefully many years from now, thinking about what would be most important to you as far as your legacy, what you'd want to be remembered for. What are some thoughts that come to mind that you think you'd want people to know?
honestly.
Who wants to go first? Mike?
I think, and this may sound weird, but I think I got 2 kids, right? Never been arrested. They're not drunks, drug addicts, or thieves.
Yeah.
And I think that it's hard to raise kids. It's hard to raise, because they're influenced off of me.
Yeah, no doubt.
They're influenced, and their kids are going to be influenced off of me.
No doubt.
Oh,
So
big time, my grandpa.
trying to raise people, especially like this the new generation, sometimes they're so, I don't want to get into it, but weak.
Mm-hmm.
Can they change a tire? Can they do
Yeah.
the ability to problem solve? Because now we have Chat GPT and we got AI coming in to make decisions for everybody.
Yeah.
And it kind of scares the heck out of you, but.
I love that.
I think
The impact on the
that's
next
probably
generation.
one of my. My wife is awesome. Sandy's awesome, and people that are like cancerous around you, they kind of got to go.
I agree.
They kind of got to go.
Life's too short.
They kind of because you don't want that negative draining you. They're
Totally.
somebody who's drama all the time. It's like don't make your drama my drama now.
Yeah. No, I hear it. I love that. Proximity is power is what Tony Robbins teaches. So who you choose to surround yourself with is going to impact your attitude, your environment.
I went to a
everything
Tony
you can
Robbins like almost 30 years ago. Walked down the Coles.
Me too.
Walked down the Coles in
I'm a fire
Toronto.
walker myself.
In Toronto, man. In Toronto, I did that.
Mine was in Newark, New Jersey.
Was it?
In the middle of the winter.
I had my scuba shop.
Cold as crap
I had
out
my
there.
scuba shop. They had like big wig. IBM was there. All these big companies, and everybody was there.
Nice.
And Tony Robbins, he like yelled out, who's got a business that's like under $1 million? And I was the only schlep, because my scuba shop was like, 900. And I remember like putting my hand on and saying, yeah, it's like 980. What do you do? A scuba diving shop,
I love
and
it.
it was like, here, boy, go over here, scuba diving shop.
He's still doing
does,
his thing, man. He's
still
out
doing
there in
thing.
his late 60s now, I want to say.
Yeah.
Might even be 70 now. I think
Probably
I saw.
70.
But he's still out there bringing the heat, bringing the energy.
Right.
How about you, Tiff?
Oh, mine's very close to Mike. Just
family?
being a mom, man.
Yeah, of
there's
course.
so many challenges, and like from my generation to my kids' generation, it is completely. Your kids are about the same age as mine, and it's like there's so much stuff that like we didn't have to go through,
Totally.
and that what they're going through, and just trying to relate to him, and just make sure you don't mess up your kids.
Right.
it's
a heavy responsibility.
It is.
Yeah.
It's
a blessing,
definitely a lot of
but it's
pressure.
definitely a heavy responsibility.
And I feel like these kids have so much more, like, just the amount of volume of stress that they go through, and school testing, standardized testing, homework. It's all so forced for them. And, not only that, but they have so much more social media presence, and just, it's completely different from from when you
we
and
try
I
to
were
do our
kids.
best to keep our kids away from the social media. But
Yeah.
even my daughter, who's 11, has friends in the neighborhood who already have a phone. Like, to me, that just doesn't. I just don't get that stuff.
Oh, see, my kid has a phone, but it
I don't
doesn't have
understand,
social
but
media
it's
on
like
it.
a phone with no restrictions. Like,
yeah,
they
so
have,
mine
they
are
have full
fully
access
restrictions.
to like all the craziness
And it's
that's
really
in the
cool.
internet.
I actually like it because, like, if my kid gets done with club, there's, hey, Mom, I'm done. Or, like, the first thing my son does every
Right.
morning is he texts my mom, good morning.
Yeah,
And, like, I
that's
looked
cute.
at his, I saw a text message come over. It was my sister-in-law. And I'm like, all right, this is kind of cool. I like this. Like, he's not talking to, like, I can set, like, who he's talking to.
Yeah.
So it's nice, like, knowing that he's using it just to speak to family members.
Yeah.
And we're really
Yeah, there's one thing to
close
have
when it
like
comes to
specific
family.
purposes for having it and
Yeah.
using it with restrictions. It's
Yeah.
another to just give
Yeah,
them
he doesn't have, like,
give them this
Instagram and
weapon
Facebook.
that
Yeah,
could
for
literally be
sure.
for a 10-year-old.
Here, Don, I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
What's it like to spend $160 driving through Burger King?
Got to be more. Got to be more.
How many kids do you have?
takes too
How
damn
many-
long, is
How
what
many
it
kids?
is.
How many kids do you have? again?
6.
Six.
We got
kids?
6.
Yeah,
Yes.
so 160.
Even
bucks
Burger
probably.
King drive-through is at least $75. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, you're not wrong about that. You're not wrong at all. Yeah, it's an interesting experience. But like I grew up as an only child, so I didn't know what I was getting into.
Now you're on overkill. Yeah.
And now we have the big family, which we kind of wanted, obviously,
awesome.
a big family. So we're just
Well, you got
taking
someone
it
to
day
mow
by
the
day, my
lawn,
man.
someone to mow the lawn, someone to do the dishes. I understand the strategy.
That's right. One day somebody's got to take care of me. Huh?
Yeah,
When,
you'll
when
open
I'm
up
old
an
and
insurance
decrepit.
agency and have all 6 of your kids in the insurance.
That might be a conversation we could have, Mike.
You know-
All right, we got to put a bow on the episode.
Yeah,
but,
because I'm sick.
real quick for people to connect with you.
Jason McIntosh has been staring at me for the last 40 minutes here. It's starting to get awkward.
What's the best way for someone to reach out to you if they want to just have you come into maybe to a broker's office to educate? If they just want to follow up with some of the stuff we've talked about today, what's the best way?
Phone call, email, whatever. Yeah, but we would love to
Triton Insurance Group, right?
Yep, Triton
TritonInsurance.com.
Triton Agency Tampa or something.
Triton Agency Tampa.
Because if you call the wrong number, you're going to go to corporate.
Okay.
And then we get kind of cut out of the loop. It's kind of a flaw that we have in the system, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. But
Well, all their information is on our website at TampaBayRealProducers.com, so you can click on their bio right there too. And then it's also, of course, in the magazine if you're receiving the magazine as a top 500 producer.
Just Google,
we have
it'll
there.
pull up. We got 680 Google reviews, 5-star reviews right now or something. Something incredible.
No doubt.
So
keep crushing it, guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was
Yeah,
good to
life
have you
is
on the
good.
show. No doubt.
Thank you,
We're going to
brother.
put a bow on the episode the way we always do with a call to action to the group. So if you are watching or listening on any of the 15 plus podcast platforms that we're on, if you're watching live through the YouTube channel, through the Facebook page, what's one call to action, one thing you can do to make sure that the time that you invested in listening to the episode is going to be valuable to you, right? And worth it. It's not just forgotten as you go about your day. And so that one thing, that one action step is really how you lock in the value from listening to this episode. So it could be as simple as, do you really have the confidence that I think you can get from listening to Mike and Tiffany talk about their knowledge of insurance? Do you have a partner on your team that you feel like is just as good and as confident as they expressed to be today and knowledgeable about the insurance game, right? And the insurance industry. And if not, maybe that's a simple action step that you can take, is just to have a conversation, right? Reach out, simple phone call, introduce yourself. So you heard about them through Top Producers Nation, through Tampa Bay Real Producers. And I'm sure they would be more than happy to be able to have a conversation with you about things that they that they see are happening that they could probably help you with your clients. As you know, every time you have a closing, you're going to need to have an insurance professional helping you down that road. Maybe you just want to pick up one of the books that Tiffany threw out there as a recommendation. That might be another action step that you can take, or you can buy them Mike's Favorite Bourbon if you'd like to take that action step as well. But do something, right? Take one thing to capture the value from watching this episode today. And of course, we'll see you on our next episode of the Top Producers Nation podcast. We'll see you later.